Long before the shining halls of Olympus gleamed in the clouds, before thunderbolts crackled in the hands of Zeus, there was only chaos, a formless expanse, a silent abyss where time had no meaning. From that darkness, the first beings emerged, not as mortals imagine gods today, but as raw, unshaped forces, immense, eternal, and untouchable. One of them was NYX, night incarnate. She was not the night sky, nor a goddess who ruled over it. She was the very concept of night, an infinite shroud of shadow from which the cosmos itself was born. In her wake trailed the essence of mystery, fear, and dreams. Even the stars seemed to burn more dimly in her presence. When NYX moved, the air grew colder. Her eyes were two pools of unfathomable black, reflecting nothing, revealing nothing. In her arms she cradled the children she birthed from her own being, deities and spirits who shaped the hidden sides of existence. Morpheus, the god of dreams, Hypnos, the god of sleep, Thanatos, the god of peaceful death, Nemesis, the goddess of retribution, and the three fates, those unyielding weavers of destiny. These children were not mere attendants. They were powers in their own right, forces that even the most ambitious god would think twice before crossing. And all of them, without exception, answered to NYX. Eons passed. The Titans rose, ruled, and fell. Zeus, son of Cronus, claimed the throne of the cosmos after a brutal 10-year war. He bound the Titans in the depths of Tartarus, divided the realms between his brothers, and set himself as the supreme ruler of the gods. Lightning was his weapon, thunder his voice. To mortals and gods alike, he seemed invincible. But what mortals never knew, and what even some gods dared not whisper, was that there existed powers older than Zeus, beings untouched by his reign. NYX was one of them. The trouble began when the Moirai, the fates, wove a prophecy into the great tapestry of destiny. It foretold a moment when the rule of Zeus would falter, when a child not yet born would bring a shadow over Olympus. The details were shrouded, but the danger was clear. The king of the gods could fall. Zeus, who had faced giants, monsters, and entire armies without fear, found himself deeply unsettled. A king could face war, but destiny was another matter entirely. And the fates, bound to their work, would not alter the thread once it was spun. Zeus decided to confront them directly. The dwelling place of the fates was far beyond the golden gates of Olympus, beyond the rivers of the underworld, and deeper still into the shadows where day had never existed. It was here, in a place between existence and nothingness, that NYX held court. Zeus descended, his presence illuminating the darkness with flashes of lightning. His voice thundered through the void as he called for the Moirai. They appeared, their spindle turning, eyes unblinking. But when he demanded the prophecy be unwoven, they refused. "You are the ruler of Olympus," they said, "but we answer only to the one who birthed us." And then she appeared. NYX stepped from the shadows as if she had always been there, her figure draped in flowing darkness that swallowed the light. Around her, the air seemed to collapse in silence. Her gaze fell upon Zeus, a gaze that was not hostile, but infinitely older and colder than anything he had ever faced. "You would unmake the work of the fates?" she asked, her voice both gentle and terrifying, like the whisper of midnight winds in a graveyard. Zeus straightened, thunder gathering in his palm. "I would prevent my fall," he replied. NYX's lips curved in something that might have been a smile or a shadow of one. "Then you seek to defy what was woven before your first breath. Do you think lightning can strike the night itself?" For the first time in memory, Zeus hesitated. The silence between them stretched, filled with an unspoken truth. Zeus could not win here. Against Titans, he had muscle and cunning. Against monsters, he had fire and steel. But NYX was not a creature to be fought. She was the void between stars, the endless night into which all things eventually faded, even gods. Without another word, Zeus let the lightning fade from his hand. He turned, his jaw tight, and left the realm of NYX without claiming victory. The prophecy remained untouched. In the centuries that followed, Zeus spoke little of NYX. Among the Olympians, her name became something you did not say lightly. In the stories told to mortals, her presence faded. The poets wrote of bright Apollo, wise Athena, mighty Zeus, but rarely of the night's queen. Not because she was forgotten, but because remembering her was dangerous. Myths have power, and NYX's name was a door. Speak it too often, and you might draw her gaze. Still, some fragments of the old truth survived. Ancient oracles warned of the one who birthed destiny and the darkness before the dawn. A few philosophers hinted that even Zeus had once bowed his head in silent defeat. Today, the myth of NYX is a ghost in the archives of Greek lore, half-remembered, often confused with lesser deities. But in the oldest hymns, she remains what she always was, the primordial night, the mother of fate, the silent truth that even the brightest gods fear the dark. And perhaps, if you find yourself under a starless sky and the air feels heavier than it should, you might remember her too. For there are powers older than the gods, and some names are kept from history not because they were lost, but because they were never meant to be spoken.